Ooh, you are listening to Keith Price's Curtain Call. This is Keith Price for the Curtain Call, and we are at the press upfronts for American Psycho, the musical, with the music written by Mr. Duncan Sheik, directed by Rupert Gould, starring a whole cast of fantastic Broadway vets, some newbies. This is going to be a piece that everyone is going to be talking about this season again. I think that the more people are talking about Broadway outside, the better it is for Broadway in general. And right now I have a few moments catching up with Mr. Duncan Sheik, who I'm going to read right now because I was supposed to talk to Duncan Sheik at Vassar this summer when I saw his last wonderful experimental piece, and we didn't get to connect, and I was very, very bummed and very sad because I really enjoyed that piece as well, and I had a whole list of questions, but now we're talking about Psycho. Okay. But that's all right, because I'm going to ask you very nicely to sign the playbills of all of my things that I brought because I was there for you.
My pleasure.
But again, Duncan Sheik, this piece, come on, man, this is going to be insane, isn't it?
I mean, I very much hope so, and I hope what you say comes true, that it becomes a talked about piece, and it may well be very polarizing to many people because of what it's doing, both in terms of the material and aesthetically and stylistically what it's doing. But yeah, I mean, as you probably know, like I'm really interested in trying to push the form forward and bring different audiences into Broadway theaters who might not necessarily go to musicals all the time. And I think it's great that that's what's happening. You know, obviously we're seeing it enormously with Hamilton. I tried to do it to whatever extent I could with Spring Awakening, and now in a different way. You know, this we're trying to be very progressive with this show too. So hopefully people will be talking it up.
Well, I think what's going to be very exciting is certainly for people of a certain generation. Is like already, as I was just sitting in the back watching the few numbers that were here, I felt the pulse, I felt the beat, and it's sort of like if that alone is enough to keep people in the seats to watching the show, I think you pretty much have a hit on your hands.
Well, that would be lovely, and I let's hope so. Knock on wood. But actually, I think that there's a lot to this show beyond just kind of an evening's entertainment, and because there are some very heavy ideas that the show talks about and deals with in some compelling ways. And I see Patrick Bateman as a kind of an avatar of the psychopathology of late capitalism. He's kind of somebody, he's in a way almost a victim of his circumstance. And Rupert Gould does an amazing job of kind of exploring his psychology throughout the show. So it's not like the silly campy version of American Psycho. It's the more Kubrickian version, if you will. Yeah.
You like it to have a little bit of that edge, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I like it to have teeth. Yeah.
Well, then American Psycho certainly is one of those pieces that of course, lives in the legends for everyone who's ever seen it, and it's become a cult classic. Were you worried about how your approach to this may change that dynamic and have that dynamic not necessarily be in your favor? Well,
look, I think, as I said before, the movie is really much loved and has this kind of cult following, and like people my brother's age, kind of mid-30s, they become obsessed with this movie. And then people my age who maybe read the book first time when it first came out in the 90s, the book has kind of become canonized now, and it's thought of as a really important piece of 20th century literature. And so, yeah, there's always the risk that you want to do it justice. But I knew between Rupert Gould and Ez Devlin and Lynn that we had a really smart, really cool creative team, and that it was in good hands, and no matter what, it was gonna be completely different from the book or the movie, but it was gonna honor the material.
That's fabulous. Well, Duncan, I believe they're making me get rid of you. You've got to go. You've got more people to talk to, and that's okay. But again, if you were coming to New York, American Psycho, March 24th, first preview, April 20th, it's opening night. It's going to be it's going to be an event, isn't it? And it's going to be an event that people are going to talk about for all the right reasons. So congratulations to you. And hopefully we will get a chance to talk again. This is Keith Price, and we'll be back.